Welcome, grade 10 learners. I'm so glad you're here. Today, we are embarking on a fascinating journey right at the heart of your English curriculum. We aren't just going to look at literature as, ink on a page, but as a dynamic window into the very fabric of human society. So think of me as your guide for the next few minutes as we unlock the hidden, intricate layers of the stories we read. We are going to build the exact analytical skills you need to be absolutely phenomenal, critical readers, not just of books, but of the entire world around you. Let's get started.
Okay, let's dive into this. So often, we treat literature like it's just a collection of dusty old books sitting on a shelf, completely disconnected from our modern lives. But honestly, that couldn't be further from the truth. Literature is a dynamic, living mirror reflecting the exact society that produced it. Think about it. A story is never written in a vacuum. Authors are real people who lived in real times. They bought groceries, they felt the crushing weight of their local economies, and they navigated the intense political pressures of their era. And because of that, the author's real, breathing world always leaves its fingerprints all over the pages. So when we read, we are actually time traveling. We're decoding the culture that shaped the writer's imagination.
Which brings us to the big, essential question for today's explainer. How do societal events, political changes, or cultural developments shape a story? I mean, would a story written during a massive, violent revolution look and feel the same as one written during an era of strict, quiet obedience? Of course not, right? As we move through our lesson today, I really want you to think about how the external world, the politics, the economy, the culture of a specific time literally dictates what characters value, the choices they realistically have, and what's considered normal, or, on the flip side, absolutely scandalous in their universe.
To get us there, here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll start with the sociocultural lens, do a quick review of essential literary tools, model some sociocultural analysis, and then step inside a doll's house. Finally, we'll focus on drawing meaningful conclusions and seeing where literature meets the real world. All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the sociocultural lens. Before we can analyze anything deeply, we just need to make sure we're all speaking the exact same language. First up is sociocultural context. This is the mix of social conditions, things like class, family roles, and institutions, plus the cultural conditions, like deeply held beliefs and traditions, that shaped a text at the exact time and place it was written. Think of this as the crucial lens that connects a fictional story to reality. If a character is struggling to find a job in Chapter 1, well, the sociocultural context tells us if they're in the middle of a booming economic golden age or a devastating global depression. It provides that absolute backdrop of reality that gives a story its real stakes.
Next, we have societal expectations. You know those unwritten rules everyone just kind of follows? That's what this is. They're the rules a community fiercely holds about how people should behave based on their gender, age, class, or family role. They dictate how a teenager, a mother, or a factory worker is supposed to act, dress, and speak. And this brilliantly illustrates where major story conflict comes from. As readers, we watch characters either blindly follow these rigid expectations, bravely struggle against them, or face serious, life-altering punishment for daring to break them. That clash, it's the engine that drives almost all great literature.
And our third core term is gender equality. This is the fundamental human right and principle that people of all genders deserve the exact same rights, opportunities, dignity, and freedom from harm. This idea is absolutely central to the play we're going to look at today. It's vital to remember that what we might consider just a basic given today was actually a highly radical, genuinely dangerous idea in the past. Understanding how characters navigate gender inequality is a massive part of analyzing social structures in historical literature.
Moving right along to Section 2, Essential Literary Tools. Just a rapid-fire refresh of the tools we use to look through our new lens. I know you already know these terms, but let's recontextualize them for grade 10. When we look at characterization now, we aren't just noting that a character is angry, right? We're asking why society made them angry. If the protagonist is trapped in a man versus society conflict, well, that tells us exactly what the historical context of the era was demanding of them and why they feel forced to push back. We look at plot exposition not just to find out where the story takes place, but to understand the specific economic and cultural rules the author is establishing right out of the gate. Mastering these basics to dig beneath the surface is exactly how we uncover an author's commentary on society. Okay, on to Section 3, Modeling Sociocultural Analysis. Let's look at exactly how this works in practice with some worked examples.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how a seemingly ordinary sentence can actually be a gateway into an entire culture. Let's look at a few quick examples. In Min Jin Lee's incredible novel Pachinko, a husband buys his wife seaweed soup after childbirth. Now, it's not just a casual meal. It reveals deep, centuries-old Korean traditions and family values surrounding healing, care, and cultural identity. Or take Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie's Purple Hibiscus. A strict father forces his family to speak English in public rather than their native language. That rule isn't just about a dad being strict. It mirrors the massive political tension and complex colonial legacy in 1960s Nigeria. And in Victor Hugo's Les Miserables, a character's lifelong devotion to Roman Catholic habits shows us just how deeply religious institutions shaped personal identity in 19th century France. The real magic happens when you connect that tiny, specific detail to the massive, overarching reality of the era.
Let's put that magic to the test in Section 4, Inside a Doll's House. We're traveling back to 1879 Copenhagen. So the crucial point is really understanding the world of the late 1800s. Many European societies expected wives to be obedient, decorative, and completely financially dependent on their husbands. Women at this time had incredibly limited legal rights. To put that into perspective, they couldn't even take out a bank loan without a man's signature. It had to be a husband, a father, or a brother, no exceptions. Their primary role was to manage the household and maintain a flawless public image. Our author, Henrik Ibsen, wrote his play directly into this highly restrictive reality, which is exactly why it sent absolute shockwaves to audiences in 1879. I mean, it completely challenged the very foundation of what society considered acceptable.
Let's meet the folks living inside this societal pressure cooker, the Helmers. We've got Nora, the wife at the center of the play, who begins the story acting like an agreeable, almost childlike wife. She's playing the exact perfect role society demands of her before she gradually starts seeking a clear-eyed understanding of her true identity. And then we have her husband, Torvald. He's a bank manager and lawyer who completely embodies the traditional expectations of the absolute household head. When you read their dialogue, I want you to pay close attention to the pet names Torvald uses for Nora. He calls her his little squirrel or his skylark. Guys, they aren't just terms of endearment. They are crystal clear windows into 19th century power dynamics, showing us how she's treated more like an entertaining pet than an actual equal partner.
All right, Section 5, Drawing Meaningful Conclusions. How do we take all this and synthesize it? We use the two circles.
To build your analytical skills here, I want you to imagine merging two distinct worlds together, kind of like a giant Venn diagram. On one side, in Circle 1, you have the specific details, facts drawn directly from the text itself, the dialogue and the author's personal life. On the other side, in Circle 2, you have the background information. These are the harsh facts about the historical economy, the legal restrictions, and the societal rules of the time. The true meaning, the really deeply powerful conclusions you're trying to reach in your essays and projects, they live right there in the overlap. You just cannot fully interpret a drama without weaving both of those circles together. The text needs the history, and the history illuminates the text. And when you do weave those circles together, you instantly elevate your writing. Actually, scratch submitting a simple surface-level theme statement like, the theme of the play is marriage. We need to zoom out, push much deeper into the societal implications. Try writing something more like this. The play suggests that genuine partnership requires honesty and equal respect, not just affection or societal approval. See the difference there? That second statement connects a specific story event to a universal societal idea. It proves to your teacher that you understand not just what happened in the plot, but exactly why it matters on a larger human level.
Finally, Section 6, Literature Meets the Real World. Let's make some global connections here.
You might be wondering, why does reading a play from 1879 actually matter to us sitting here today? Well, the struggles we see in A Doll's House aren't just historical trivia. They map directly onto the modern world and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. These are massive goals the global community is actively fighting for today. Whether it's SDG 3 focusing on mental health and well-being, SDG 5 striving tirelessly for gender equality, SDG 10 aiming to reduce inequality across the board, or SDG 16 promoting inclusive, peaceful societies. When you analyze Nora's struggle for independence, you're literally analyzing the historical roots of the exact global goals we're focused on right now. It really forces us to ask, how far has society actually progressed since 1879? And, where are we still falling terribly short? Which leaves me with a final provocative thought for you to carry into your upcoming blog creation project. I want you to ask yourself, do these 1879 beliefs about women, marriage, and obedience still exist today in your own community? Are there still unwritten rules governing how you are supposed to behave based purely on your gender or your role? Before you analyze Nora and Torvald for your performance task, just take a moment to reflect on your own self-awareness and the unwritten rules of your own world. Because ultimately, reading society through story isn't just about understanding the ghosts of the past, it's about boldly holding a mirror up to our present. Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer today. Keep reading critically, keep questioning the world around you, and I'll see you next time.